Hi, Tim Bartz here at McArthur Ford in Salina, Kansas, your source for updated Maverick news and information. And this week I want to do a little Q&A video. I did put some questions out there on Reddit, on the Maverick truck subreddit, and overwhelming response. I have 4 pages worth of questions that we're going to go over, as well as there's an update to the order guide as well that we're going to talk about in this video. So frequently asked questions video, as well as a order guide update with some more information. So very informative video, so let's dive right in and get started. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit the red subscribe button down below so you can get subscribed over to the channel. Hit the notification bell. You'll also get notified the next time we have another video uploaded to a YouTube channel. Right now we're doing a lot of information, almost a weekly update video on Maverick, and at least for the next couple weeks we'll do that. So we'll have this one here as you're watching this as part of the Tech Tuesday, and next week we'll have a Tech Tuesday video as well, because we'll have a Maverick here at the dealership. So let's dive right in. Let me talk about first frequently asked questions, and then we'll move over to the order guide. Okay, first we're going to start off by talking about some frequently asked questions that you guys gave me over on Reddit. A couple of them that I actually want to kind of talk about my own. A couple things I want to clarify on a few things that maybe you're not seeing, and I wanted to clarify those questions there in this video as well. So keep in mind there are a couple questions I may not answer in here. Just so you know, if I don't answer your question, it may be because I'm going to wait until we get the Maverick here next week. So August 10th, we're going to have a Maverick here at the dealership for training, and I'm going to put a car seat in the back seat, see how that fits. I'm going to get somebody that's a little bit taller, over 6 feet tall, get in the front with a car seat in the back. We're going to go through all that. We're going to check where things are located. And so there's some questions you guys had that really I can't answer until next week. So we are going to defer some of those questions to next week, and I'll do a separate video. I'll do a live stream next week, so be looking for, hopefully you're subscribed to the channel, because I will do a YouTube live in the morning, but then also put together a video. I'll edit it in the afternoon, and then we'll have that go live for Tech Tuesday next week. So be looking for that video as well as we go kind of more in depth. So I may not answer all the questions here in that live stream, but we'll answer those questions in the video that I'll put together and edited with B-roll and everything else for the Maverick. So hopefully we get have a lot of fun with that. Looking forward to that. Can't wait till next week till we get that. Let's go over some of these questions that I had. A couple things people have asked that have asked about in the past that they didn't ask in the questions, but one was like memory seat, whether or not the Maverick's going to have memory seat, have cooled seats, have power passenger seat, have navigation. It won't have any of those. So the no memory seat on any level, no cooled seats. Do not have the power passenger seat will not be powered whatsoever on the Maverick. Navigation will not be available at all. So those are not available on the Maverick, even on the Lariat with the Lariat luxury package. So just keep that in mind. If you're wondering about that, you can put that out of your mind. It's not going to be available. Sirius XM is only available as part of the Lariat with the Lariat luxury package, so you have to go up to that to get Sirius XM. If you watched my video last week that I talked about the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay a little bit, you can actually plug your phone in, use navigation on there, as well as if you sign up for the Sirius satellite for your app, then you'll be able to actually play Sirius XM through your phone using Android Auto. So that's a ways you would be able to do that. And then some people asked about some differences between the FX4 and the tow package. There are some things that are included in both. More features included in the FX4 package. And there's no confirmation whether or not if you get the FX4 package, if you're going to be able to tow 4,000 pounds, because there are some features as part of the FX4 package that are not included in that. So I'm actually putting right here, probably over my face even, I'm going to put FX4 package and then also the tow package. You can see the differences there. So there are some things that are different. Now there's a great little guide that Ford has out. It's a media guide with information. I'm using it because I knew the order guide may not have been available when I did this video. And get to the packages here if I can find it. So there was some, the difference between the tow, there it is, the tow package and the 4K tow package and the FX4 package. Both do need all-wheel drive, by the way, right now, and the Ecoboost, you can get both of them would need actually Ecoboost as well. So both of them would need both of those packages, Ecoboost as well as the all-wheel drive for those. There are some things that are available now. If you look at the tow package, you're getting the heavy-duty transmission with oil cooler. That is something that you do not see as part of the FX4 package, if I'm not mistaken here. Yep. So you don't see that included. So that's really what's needed to help the vehicle and the engine being able to haul a bigger amount of load, is being able to have that transmission and engine oil cooler to be able to help it function a little bit better. Yeah, you do have a higher capacity radiator and upgraded cooling fan in both of the packages, and both of them will have the tow hitch, tow package, and you don't have an integrated trailer brake controller on the FX4 package. Some people may not care about that, depends on how much you pull there, but there are some differences there. So some things there in the FX4 package that will help it. Larger radiator, cooling fan, that kind of stuff. That's kind of also to help you go off-road. So that's the reason it's included in that package. Will it tow more? I'm not going to say anything, because I don't want you guys, taking that and running it and say, well, McArthur said it could. I'm not going to go there. Really, unless Ford says something different, probably not. F-150 with the FX4 package, they don't change any of the towing capabilities like they would if you go to a tow package. So really just depends on some of that stuff. But of course, FX4 off-road package isn't getting some other stuff. You can order those together, so you can get the FX4 and the tow package together. Somebody said they weren't able to do that, and maybe it's because they didn't have all-wheel drive on. So I'm not sure on that, but you can get those in combination together. Talk about some of the colors. I want to talk about that are standard on each of the different trims. XL gets most of your colors. You're going to get you the Area 51, Cactus Gray, Carbonized Gray, Iconic Silver, the Oxford White, Shadow Black, and Velocity Blue, pretty much in all your trims. When you go to the XLT, you do gain a couple other colors. Alto Blue, which is a tinted clear coat. That'll be an extra cost color. A Cyber Orange Metallic Tri-Coat, also an extra cost color. And a red pepper or hot pepper red metallic tinted clear coat is also going to cost you more money. So those three colors are available in the XLT, but will cost extra, anywhere from $395 to $595 typically for those, depending on if it's just a tinted clear coat or if it's the tri-coat. So I think the Cyber Orange is $595, and the hot pepper red and Alto Blue probably is $395 for the different costs on those. That's my guess. Probably actually is listed on the building price on Ford's website. Go to Lariat, you also get all those same colors as the XLT, and then first edition is going to be available in Area 51, Carbonized Gray, or red, the Rapid Red tinted clear coat. Again, extra cost color, and that's a late availability color. So if you have ordered a first edition with the Rapid Red and your dealer didn't tell you, that's a late availability color, which means it's not going to be available for a while. I'm not sure how long. Ford doesn't tell us that information. A lot of times when I see late availability on the order guide, it's usually halfway through the model year. So if you're wanting something, if you're wanting a first edition, you're wanting it soon, hopefully you like Area 51 or the Carbonized Gray. Otherwise, you're probably going to be waiting a little bit to get your vehicle. So keep that in mind. So those are some things I wanted to cover. And then here, let's go ahead and start going through some of these questions. I'll try to put timestamps down below for each of these. So Slashy42 asked, some guys have just posted that only hybrids were being made in the first month. What's your opinion on that? Okay, so actually, hybrids are not the only thing being produced. They're producing a mixture of both. Right now, there aren't going to be any stock units that are going to be available as hybrids. So they're leaving all the hybrid engines for those retail units. From what we're getting, the information we got, actually, Granger Ford put this out last Saturday, and we did get some information from our from the wholesale this week, from our all of our area reps. All the dealers should have gone over this. So they are going to have about a mixture of hybrids of about 35% for August, September, October production. So that means that about 35% of the vehicles built are going to be hybrids. So you're going to see a lot of Ecoboosts being built, and then later, long term, they're figuring about 40% of the mixture being hybrid. So I don't think they really Ford realized the overwhelming demand for hybrids. About 75% of our orders were hybrids. So 40% long-term isn't going to work for it, so you might need to change that, but that's something that's going on right now. So also to go along with that, I don't know if I'm going to mention it later, but the spray and bed liners also, that's saying it's coming in extremely rich, which means about 70% of the unscheduled orders have bed liners put in there, the spray and bed liner. So a lot of people want the spray and bed liner in there, and that includes the ones with the luxury packages too. So anyway, so what I recommend right now is they're even talking about that long term. They're thinking about making it to where the spray and bed liner may not be included in the luxury package. Right now, probably if you get your order in, you're probably good. It's probably not going to change that, but I think down the road they're going to try to take that out and make it a standalone option. I would recommend, and we recommended a couple of our customers, if you have spray and bed liner as a standalone option, I would encourage you to take that off and let us do your spray and liner here. We are a TOF spray and liner. Actually, our liner is a lifetime warranty, so even better than Ford's 3-year 36. So I'd recommend if you have your order in with us, let's take your spray and bed liner off, and then it probably more likely that your order will get pulled than being delayed because of that. So they are, I think, it looks like to me that unless you have the luxury packages, I didn't see any orders that were pulled last week and that had optional spray and bed liners. So just something to think about. Would recommend you do that by usually early in the week. Tuesday, Wednesday are the days usually they start previewing orders, deciding what they're going to pull. So a lot of times you'll see orders getting previewed and pulled down under 10 and still be unscheduled. And then Thursday, those are usually the units that they go ahead and schedule. So that's usually they're previewing, looking at those orders on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they do their pulls on Thursday. Okay, Scallywag 38, he asked, are there any latch attachments in the car seats for all 3 car positions? Typically just on the 2 outside seats. So usually I think my Expedition's even this way. Actually Expedition, it might be one in the middle as well. But usually it's just on the 2 outside seats, especially on more of your SUVs, because they figure it's going to be really hard to put that booster in the middle. I know some of you want to put that child in the middle instead of on the 2 outside seats. What some people do is they use the latches on the inner. They'll use those 2 latches for putting one in the middle. So you can put one in the middle and use the the inside latches for the car seat. So keep that in mind. I'll verify that next week when a Maverick is here, but typically the latches just in those 2 outbound seats is what I probably say is going to happen. All right, Retarded Fluffy Cat, he asked about miles per gallon on the 2.0 in all-wheel drive. We don't know any miles per gallon on the 2.0, and I'm not going to put any numbers out there. I don't want that floating out there on the internet that I've claimed anything. And I did ask the brand manager when we can expect to see that. He doesn't know. It's really up to fueleconomy.gov at this point, so it's when they release it that we'll have that. So you would think they'd have that by the time they're producing the vehicles and the window stickers, because that needs to go on there. So hopefully it's anytime now. And then he had another question we'll answer on the 10th when we get those when we get that here. So we'll talk about that. He had asked basically, is the rear seat going to be smaller because of the hybrid? And from what I understand, and we'll know for sure next week, hopefully he has a hybrid with him, is that the hybrid will actually take up the just underneath the seat, so you will lose some cargo under there, or some underseat storage probably, but I'll try to see if I can get that clarified next week. Buffalo Bill, he asked, will my phone connect wirelessly to upgraded Sync 3 system? I've read that the Sync 4 will need a cable for the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Actually, that's backwards. The Sync 3 always is needed to be able to wire in the Apple CarPlay. It is saying that you will need to wire in for the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Both of those you'll need to plug your phone into the USB port. And Sync 4, that one you can go wireless, but this is this vehicle here will come with that. So let's actually talk about that for a second. Sync 3 is only available in the Lariat luxury package. So what connectivity will you have as standard equipment? You will still have Bluetooth capabilities, so you can Bluetooth your phone. There will be a button on the steering wheel so you can make and receive phone calls using the hardwired information. You will also be able to use Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, so you'll still have a lot of those functionalities. So when you go to Sync 3, what do you get? You are going to be able to use that button to control your audio and your climate settings. You're going to also be able to have 911 assist, as well as you're going to have the app link. Heard something going out there. I think maybe, I can't remember what magazine it was, but one of the magazines out there has actually had said that they that 911 assist would be standard equipment, but that is not on the updated order guide, which we'll go over in just a second. A Macro 2, his question is, the question me and a few other people have asked is about the functionality of the in-cab inverter and whether it works when the car is off, and whether it can use only the hybrid battery and have the gas engine kick on as needed. So the way that's going to work, and the way it works now in your hybrids, and actually it works for if you have a vehicle, I have actually a hybrid Fusion that works the same way, and that has an outlet in the back, or even the USB ports are the same way. It's going to power it when the vehicle is turned on. So you will need to turn the vehicle on. If you have a gas motor, if you have the 2.0 Ecoboost, it'll need to be turned on. It'll be running to be able to power the outlet, whether it be in the cab or even in the bed. Same way on the hybrid, it'll need to be turned on to power that. But sometimes you'll hear that you won't hear the motor, because what it'll do is try to run off the battery when it can and then kick it on when it needs it. Same way for running your AC. There's a question later down here about the AC. We'll get to it in just a little bit, but it runs that the same way. So when you're stopped at a stoplight, the Ecoboost engine auto start stop will turn the vehicle off, and your AC will not run. So it won't run on that. Your hybrids will still run. It'll, even when the motor's not going, it's using that hybrid battery to run the AC. Same way when you remote start the vehicle in the morning, it'll run the AC that way as well. So that's how that usually is going to work there. So it will, of course, that, like the Ecoboost, if it needs that, if it starts to get a little warm inside the cab, then it'll kick that engine on. Even with the auto start stop, and then the hybrid will do the same thing. If that battery's running low, it's going to kick the engine on, so it helps keep that cool in there. And if it needs to in the morning when it's trying to cool the vehicle off, if you have your remote start settings, it's going to just turn that engine on. It's going to run off battery as long as it can, and then if it needs to, because it runs out of battery power, then it's going to go turn the engine on to charge the battery, as well as then, of course, keep your AC going. All right, 10AC asked several questions. We'll see if we can go through these. He had asked, which engine should I get? Do I need 4x4? Those are all really up to you. I might have an opinion on it. Just depends on what you're looking for out of the Maverick. Some people are looking at it to pull that small trailer, but they won't have to go up to big F-150 or a Ranger. In that case, Ecoboost would be a good engine for you. I would recommend going. If you go Ecoboost, you just will go all-wheel drive, in my opinion, but not necessarily, just depends. But the hybrid, I think if you're, driving around town and you get good fuel economy, hybrid is a great way to go. It's what the hybrid's a vehicle that I got for my son, because he's going to be basically driving it back and forth, but then he can put stuff in the back of the truck. He can haul some things if he needs to. He's not going to really tow a trailer. I have an F-150 for that. If I need to tow something, I'll use that. So it really depends on what your lifestyle's like. It does mention, if you're going in the dirt, whether or not the hybrid's going to be efficient enough with the front wheel drive. And most days it will. If it's really raining and it's really muddy and that dirt road is just a mud pit, you might struggle getting through that. There is a slippery mode, but the all-wheel drive will do better on that situation. But for most times down the gravel road, front wheel drive and the hybrid, you're going to be just fine, I believe. Asked about if the engine and the reliability of the engine and the transmission and such. On that 2.0 liter, I think you're good. That's been out for several years now. 2.0 as well as the all-wheel drive system have been tested, and the 8-speed transmission as well has been out for a couple years. It's been proven, it's been tested, you're good to go. The hybrid, that hybrid motor has been out, it's been tested for a while, but the new ECV transmission that Ford's doing in-house now, they're taking that over. They're doing that in-house. So that transmission we're not seeing out there as much. So I guess just time will tell. But I've found that Ford does test these things out pretty well. They get the vehicle. There's been people with driving the Mavericks around with it all badged up and everything, and stickers off of the side so they don't give away what it is, that have been driving this around town, driving it to work, to the Ford employees and such, to see how well it runs. So they've been driving it probably for a year and a half prior to it being released in production. So I don't really think they release it if it's not proven. Keep in mind, later they did ask down here, another question was about the manufacturer warranty. Will they stand up behind it? You're going to get a 3-year, 36,000 mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. Hybrid, any hybrid components will get an 8-year, 100,000 mile warranty on that. And Ford does have a buyback program. So if you get a vehicle and the dealership cannot fix the complaint, you complain, you go to Ford, call Ford. If you're having something and you just have a vehicle that, sometimes it happens, sometimes a certain production day on the line or something happens with that engine or the motor, and you just can't get it fixed. Ford will usually buy back that vehicle. So we've actually purchased a bunch of Focuses where people didn't feel like, because of the way that motor and the transmission shifted, that it was running correctly. And Ford bought back a bunch of Focuses, and then we usually buy those at the auction. We'll sell those, and they usually come with a 1-year warranty when you do sell those as a used vehicle. So they will sometimes buy those vehicles back. And then they actually asked about the Sync 3. I already talked about that earlier. They asked, what can I tow? Okay, so Ford did actually put out some things on there for their towing. And what can you expect to tow? I actually think they showed some images. Let's see if I can find it. I got all these pages here together, and now they're all out of order. So let's talk about that. So a lot of them, they kind of mentioned, on, here we go, towing. So 2,000 pounds, so the standard towing is 2,000, and it's saying here, the capacity to pull a small camper, small storage trailer, snowmobile, or personal watercraft with a trailer. So they show images, some of the media rolls that you're seeing. It has the 2 jet skis being pulled. That's basically what you kind of expect with 2,000 pounds. Small trailer, a camper, we're talking probably a pop-up. So if you have a pop-up that weighs less than 2,000 pounds, that's about what you'd expect. Small storage trailer, that kind of thing. 4,000 pounds is where you can tow a little bit more. So it's capable of towing a small to medium boat, 20-pound camper. So you're seeing some of those smaller campers, travel trailers out there that you can pull, side-by-side ATVs, that kind of thing is what you can expect. Now payload talks about kind of what you can expect with the payload, because the payload is about 1,500 pounds back there in the bed. And that, if you want to kind of look at it in this kind of context, is that it's capable of carrying 37 bags of 40-pound mulch or cement. So 37 bags of 40-pound bags of concrete can go in the back. So that gives you a good idea what it can handle. Also it can carry in the back of the bed a small recreational ATV. So maybe a small motorcycle or a small 4-wheel or something like that. So keep that in mind. Of the towing, so we mentioned that. Also asked about the order process. So I won't go into order process. Most of you know how that works. They're still taking reservations until August 24th. The current process of taking the reservation, it goes to the dealership, and then securing the order with the dealership is still how it's going to be done until the 24th of August. After that, you will just order through your dealership like you would any other vehicle right now. So you would order through the dealer, and they would submit your order for you. Right now, they still do recommend, of course, like we've been talking about all my videos, that what you need to do is the dealership will need to get that verified. So the order will need to be verified. It's a little different on the Maverick than it is other vehicles. So instead of these, I think it's called the Maverick or the retail order verification process. So that's getting that reservation. So it may stand for reservation order verification process, but it has to be verified. And to get verified, it'll need to be a build sheet that has your name filled out, your address, your email address, and everything in there signed by that person, as well as their copy of their driver's license, because they want to see an actual physical person that matches up with a physical name. So they don't throw in some name that doesn't exist, instead, and so you can get, so the dealership can get that order in there. They actually have to see that photo ID of a valid driver's license as well. So they need at least those 2 things. We've also been submitting a buyer's order as well, and all of ours have been getting verified without any issues, without any problems there. And then I think that's all the questions for him. Oh, actually, there's one more question he had at the end. What's the biggest difference between the body-on-frame construction like the F-150 and a unibody design like the Maverick? And so there are a couple of great benefits of having a unibody design, and one of them is that it doesn't rely on those heavy steel rails in there to make it heavier. The unibody design, or will actually be a lot less. the weight is going to be significantly less, so it's going to get better fuel economy. Also, it's going to hold up and crash a little bit differently because instead of absorbing it, the unibody design takes a whole vehicle and kind of absorbs that accident. So it's going to be a more comfortable ride as well, safer ride, more fuel efficiency with the unibody design than a body-on-frame design. So that's just something to keep in mind. That's pretty much the differences there, and there are some great pros to having a unibody design. Body on frame will be able to handle more and tow more. That's why your F-150 is body on frame. It uses that steel frame to tow more weight with than it can with the unibody design. So there's a couple different pros and cons there. Midnight Call, I think I have that right. He asked, is the bed extender hard secured in the bed, or can it be easily removed? The reason they ask is about the different covers that it comes with, and we're going to get into some of what's not available here in just a little bit. But looks like the bed extender they're using is a solid bed extender that can just swivel in and out, which means it'll lock into the bed, inside the bed there. Usually means it can come out as well, so you can take it out. So that is something, like I mentioned in my past videos, is go ahead and get the bed cover from Ford if you want to, and then get the bed extender later. Again, that might be something that could hold up production as well, so keep that in mind. Some of those accessories can hold that up. Bed covers can sometimes hold that up, and we can always get bed covers, bed extenders and all that afterwards. But I'm not sure, because the bed covers, some bed covers are not available with the bed extenders. It looks like to me from the pictures and looking at it that maybe that bed extender, when you fold it in inside and you rotate it in, that maybe the bed cover will not be able to go close down all the way and may actually hit the bed extender, and that's probably why they're not letting you have those together. So I'd probably get them separate. You can always have your bed cover opened up, and then put your bed extender in there when you need to. Maybe don't close your bed cover all the way up, especially if you have like the aluminum roll-up one. That would be a little bit harder, but if you have a tri-fold or whatever, you could fold two of them down, and you could do something like that. So it looks like, I did hear though, I don't think Retrax is going to make a bed cover for the Maverick, so keep that in mind. Lonnie Gibson, he did ask, when will they be able to test drive the vehicle? So nobody's test driving. It sounds like to me, because even the brand manager I had mentioned that I thought looked like the Chicago Auto Show that they were test driving, and he said no, that was incorrect. Nobody is able to test drive this yet. I think their goal was to get vehicles to the dealerships so people could test drive them, because I don't think they really thought that until customers could test drive these, they'd order them, but they were wrong. So it looks like not. I probably, usually when our trainers come by, he's the only one that can drive the vehicle. He usually doesn't let me drive him back to our picture building to do a video. But we'll see when he comes if he lets me drive it or not. But I don't think right now they're not going to be driven until you start seeing them at dealerships. That's just my take. Most of the Mavericks are showing up at different shows, are not able to be driven, so, or no test drives or anything. So we'll see about that. I think even the Bronco, you couldn't test drive the Bronco until it was available at the off-roading event. So it looks like they're not giving them to those different media outlets either. So but we'll see. When that happens, I'll know probably a little bit more next week on some of that timeline. On the Lariat trim with the Lariat Luxury, will each 110 outlet be on its own circuit, or will they share the 400 watt inverter for both outlets? Initially, I thought maybe they had their own, but I think they probably share one. And there's actually a picture from somebody that I'm going to ask some questions later, where he posted actually an image of the back wall of the cab, and I think that there's a black box back there, and I think that's the inverter. So I think the inverter is going to be on that back wall, and I think the outlet in the cab as well as the one in the bed will probably share that inverter. So I think you're going to have a total of 400 watts that you're going to be able to use between the two. So keep that in mind. Usually those in-cab outlets that you have are really designed for tablets, iPhones, computers, laptops, your phone, that kind of thing. That's typically what those are made for, not for a lot of power. When you think about 400 watts, you think about 4 100 watt outlets, or light bulbs, I mean. So you think about it in that way. It might run maybe recharge some rechargeable batteries for power tools, but probably not be able to run a power tool. Definitely won't be able to run any kind of generator. Won't probably be able to run any kind of power tools, that kind of thing, any major power tools. Definitely not like a saw and something like that, because I think they take more than 400 watts to run those. So just keep that in mind. They're really made for small things and power those, so they probably will share an inverter, but I'll try to find more information about that next week. When will Ford release the prints and files for the FIT system? This is a good question. I actually answered this. There's some information here on this that actually shows the FIT system, and it actually mentions there's a QR code that's going to be available. There's a QR code, and they're saying that right now, if you scan the QR code, it actually just goes to Ford's website. But it will actually, now they're saying near anytime there's a FIT system, whether it be underneath the seats or behind the console, there's supposed to be a little QR code that you can then scan that, and it tells you the information on that. So I'm hoping that the pre-production vehicle that the trainer brings next week will have the QR code there, and if it does, I will definitely scan that and get you that information and get that to you. So cross my fingers on that, but I'm not sure yet. But when the vehicles come out, the production vehicles, they should have a QR code and be able to get that information. So, but Ford hasn't really released that yet. Will you be able to add a dimming rear view mirror aftermarket? Not sure on this. Probably not, because I think that mirror weren't attached on that glass. It needs some of that information. So I think on the back of that mirror, it needs some of that for your pre-collision assist and some of those other features. So I don't think you're going to be able to add a auto dimming rear view mirror aftermarket. Leland J, if you buy the Lariat, can you put the keyless fob inside the truck and lock it in the door with the keypad? Yes, you can. I do this all the time with my vehicle. I do it with my Expedition that has a key fob. Leave it inside. I could use the keypad to lock it. It locks it. It will let the vehicle lock. That's really the only way you can lock it. If you try to leave the key inside and lock the door and shut it, it'll actually honk twice, unlock the vehicle, not let you do that. But if you use a keypad, you can do that. So you will be able to do that and use it that way. Will Dubs, he asked if you had a dealer if you had your dealer make changes to your order after it was confirmed, does your order confirmation date get pushed back, or does it stay the same original confirmation? Kind of already mentioned that you can change your order already, kind of clue that in a little bit. But yeah, it doesn't change your order date. Your order date's locked in when you got your first order in. If you make some changes, you can do that. We've actually had people that have done that with Bronco, have made some changes, and then the Bronco got pulled. So that you can do that. Again, I recommend you do that by Monday, because they're going to preview orders on Tuesday and Wednesday. So we've actually already had a couple people contact us last Friday and do some changes to their order. So hopefully their orders do get pulled. But yes, that's how that works. You will not get another email, by the way. So if you, let's say you ordered an XLT originally, you got your email from Ford, it's going to say you have an XLT order. If you change it to Lariat or something like that, you can do that. It doesn't move you around anywhere, but you won't get another email. So keep that in mind. The next email will come when your vehicle gets scheduled for build, or gets a scheduled build date, I should say. Brian BJW, the DIY wiring system in the back, what is the amp watt voltage of that? Are they on a separate system, or they share it with something? Basically, what can you actually wire up to them efficiently? Can I put more 110 watt plug there? So Secret Duck 6, thank you very much for answering him. He actually answered him on Reddit because he had mentioned, because I didn't know this, they are in separate circuits, which I figured they would be for each side. So they're on separate circuits. And he said in here that it's a 12 volt 20 amp is what it comes with that, and it has its own circuitry and fuse for each one of those. Somebody else actually I found on Facebook had posted in that the max watts for an inverter that can be attached to a 12 volt pre-wired lead is 180 watts. So it gives you an idea of what you can do there. Hopefully that helps you out. Beckery, I think I said that right, asked about the adaptive cruise control. Will we know? We will not know indefinitely until someone actually tries it, but historically has Ford dealers installed cruise control or adaptive cruise control? Is there a sliver of hope for the XL getting cruise control, whether it be post-purchase or as an option? Could adaptive cruise control be an option for any Maverick single or package? On the XL, okay, so basically, you know, on the XL, you don't get cruise control. Should be able to add that as an aftermarket. You can get an aftermarket cruise control, and it should work just fine. There are several different companies out there, so you know, if you have an XL, you're only missing that cruise control, you should be able to get that. But for the adaptive cruise control, really, there's so many things that go into that. There's a lot of hardware things that you need for the adaptive cruise control to work. Though, of course, the steering wheel is going to be a totally different setup and what you get there. So right now, to get adaptive cruise control, you have to go Lariat with the Lariat luxury package. I really hope for 2023 we do see, you know, that comes to the XLT trim at least. And hopefully I'd like to see cruise control come to the XL trim as well. But for this year, this is the way the setup is, and this is really what you're stuck with. Mr. Maverick Man, he asked, my dealership kind of, so his dealership is actually doing a $2,000 markup with a $1,000 refundable deposit, but he needs a vehicle now, doesn't want to get out of order. If he goes with another dealership, what will happen there? A couple things here. That dealership now owns that order, so you know, they do not have to cancel the order or anything like that. If you gave them a deposit, they can keep your deposit. You signed to that effect probably when you got your vehicle, and so you're kind of really stuck right now at that point. What it would do is if you didn't have to put a deposit down, or it's a refundable deposit, you could cancel your order. Would move you to the back of the line for a new order with the other dealership. So keep that in mind. So, you know, advice there is go into the dealership, talk to them and say, hey, you know, I know you mentioned $2,000 over MSRP, but now there's more and more dealerships out there doing MSRP. Will you think about selling one at MSRP? Maybe, you know, you could try to see if, you know, hey, maybe I'll just cancel my order with you then and go with another dealership that looks like wants my business, is willing to do MSRP, see if that works. Otherwise, that's probably about the only advice that I have for you for that out there. So so just keep that in mind. Hopefully it goes well for you, and maybe they throw something in for the $2,000 or something. Tell them there's, just talk about the dealerships out there that are going below. There are dealerships out there going below invoice. Not sure why. Probably they're using a holdback money for that. And then there's a lot of dealerships that are doing MSRP right now, so not sure, at this point there are dealerships, hopefully they're not doing over MSRP, because it just, there's a lot of them that aren't. So Rocketman 1967 said, clarification if the XLT includes the rear seat center console and cup holders, or if that is now only available XLT trim, luxury trim. I do know when you go to the image, when you add the XLT luxury, you see the image now on Ford's website. The build price shows the flip down. I think they're talking about the flip down armrest with cup holders. I think that's what they're talking about on the back seat. That is actually standard equipment on all XLTs, and we'll go over that in the order guide in just a little bit. It is included as standard equipment on all XLTs. So you do not have to go to the luxury package to get that configuration. I'm going to chop this up. ARPHNAAKER. Not sure how to say that, but you had asked best way to carry a canoe on the Maverick. There are some images when you go to the bed extender where they use the bed extender to help contain it in the back, and then you use probably tie downs towards the front of it to keep it in one location. Probably several different ways. I'm not sure the best way, but I guess you guys will probably figure that out and post some things out there for those that want to carry a canoe. Now, SuperBet 1366 had 25 questions for me. So some of those questions I've already actually answered previously. Some of these, in fact, a lot of them, I'm going to kind of defer until next week when we get a Maverick here. So let's answer a few of these questions though. He was wanting us to confirm what it's going to look like on the back of the console if you get the 110 outlet for the cab. So it's the standalone option. The 110 outlet would not get the outlet in the bed, but would get the outlet in the cab. On XLT, typically standard equipment, you would not have USB ports in the back of the console. But it mentions on the luxury packages that when you add it to the bed, that you get the USB ports on the console. It doesn't really mention anywhere if you add the standalone options if you would get those USB ports as well. Because usually what it'll take is to take the PowerPoint and replace it with the 110 outlet, but doesn't give us those others. I did reach out to the brand manager about this. He said it should. I mean, I know a lot of us out there are like should or yes. And I know that we don't have a definitive answer on that. I'm hoping that maybe next week I can get some clarification on it. So I don't have a secure confirmation on that. I would think that Ford would go ahead and put them on the back because they already have 3 different configurations back there as it is, between only having a PowerPoint versus having a 2 USB ports and a PowerPoint on the Lariat trim, and then also then having 2 USB ports and a outlet. That I don't think they'd make another configuration with just the outlet without the USB ports, but they might, never know on that. He actually asked about some dimensions on a few things. We'll try to get some of that information next week when we can actually look at those at the dealership. Also, he asked, will the infotainment system play music, podcasts, etc. from a USB thumb drive plugged into the USB port? And yes, currently Ford has that now. If you have media on a thumb drive, you plug it in the USB port, you can actually, as a source on the radio, choose AM, FM, USB, and it would then play that, whether it be your phone plugged into it or a thumb drive. Either way, it'll play whatever audios files you have through it, through the USB ports. On the XL, even if it doesn't have cruise control, does the XL steering wheel have the cruise control buttons built in? No, they won't. So they will have a different steering wheel setup on there. They will not have the cruise control buttons there. So you're not going to be able to wire, an aftermarket cruise control and wire it into those buttons. I think that's what his goal was there. And could one add the Ford OEM homelink after sale? So the garage door openers or the homelink would be on the visor on most vehicles, and none of the Mavericks have that, so probably not. I've seen in past where if you maybe have a vehicle that has the homelink system on an upper trim, you could actually swap out the visor with that because it actually doesn't hardwire into anything. It's actually just a transmitter that sits under there. But in this case, where it's not provided at all, I would say no. It says, can we get an advanced copy of the vehicle user guide? Not that I'm aware of. Probably that owner's manual probably won't go. It may be floating out there eventually once vehicles start showing up. We'll probably start seeing vehicles show up before we start seeing those out there on the internet somewhere. When is the earliest that spare replacement parts are scheduled to be available? Probably at the time they're starting to show up at the dealerships. They'll probably be available for the parts department, for Ford parts departments to be able to order those. Because if anything goes wrong, they're going to need to order those to get them replaced and not have you out of a vehicle. So I would assume pretty much the time that they're available. Just noticed in my time that I'm already up to 40 minutes. I feel like I've answered some great questions, but I did want to go through the order guide. And I'm really not sure if I should go ahead and do it in this video or not, but how about if I just talk about a couple things that we know of for sure that were added to the order guide and updated. I actually highlighted a bunch of things here that were different on the order guide. Some things that looks like we clued Ford into, and that's why that order guide was changed and updated. One of the things is LED lights are standard equipment on all of your trims. I think somebody found this in the media guide that came out. But that is something that was not on the original order guide as standard equipment. In fact, I think the images online at the very beginning on Ford's Build and Price showed halogen lights, but they are going to be LED headlights, LED auto high beams are standard equipment. Carpeted flooring we already talked about in the past videos is standard equipment. Privacy glass is also standard equipment on the back glass in the back windows. Bluetooth connectivity we already talked about as well. There are some things that have changed in the standalone options on the XL trim. I actually did ask the brand manager, so hopefully get some clarification on that. It had mentioned the underseat storage was a standalone option for the gas motors, the 2.0 Ecoboost, which made me think maybe the underseat storage wasn't standard equipment. They took that off the order guide, so that probably means that underseat storage is standard equipment on both engines, not just the hybrid engine. Also, they took off the bed cargo net as a dealer installed option. That was there before. It's not there on the XL trim. It's there on the XLT and Lariat. So I don't know if that was just a mishap that they pulled that off on accident, but that's been changed. They did actually update some things on the standalone options for the Ford Copilot 360. They have now added the power mirrors to the Copilot 360 for the XL as a standalone. So if you get that package, it is now listed on there when it wasn't before. So now it is listed on there that you get power mirrors along with those other 3 features on the XL trim. So that is, we have now get verified confirmation of that. We kind of already knew that as dealers. I put that out there in some videos and some comments, but that's out there. Also, they actually had updated a few things on the some other things. One of the things that's really unique on the XL trim, standalone option, you can get the hard drop-in bed liner. That's a late availability, but it also says it gives you, for the XL trim, will give you 4 tie downs. So it looks like you get the tie downs when you add that to it. Of course, that is not available with the bed extender still, that is mentioned. Now it's actually added a couple other bed covers. It's not being available with the bed extender. So the bed extender is not available with the hard drop-in bed liner, and it's not available with any of the bed covers now. Before it was just a soft folding bed cover, it wasn't available. Now they've added the hard rolling as well as the hard tri-fold that's not available with the bed extender. So you can't get that with any of the bed covers now, and that's they put that on all the different trims as well. Let's see what else. The protective film not available with the hood deflectors, so you can't get those together. That's something that's been changed and updated. And then they mentioned the tonneau covers, again, not available with the bed extenders, as well as the bed crossbars as well. You can get some crossbars that go across the bed. You can't get the hard covers, of course, the bed covers with those as well. That kind of makes sense as well. Let's see if there's anything else mentioned. Yeah, it looks like they just changed a few wording on the XLT trim. It mentions manual folding now with power glass. I think they just wanted to kind of confirm that. And the wiper activated LED lights. You will also notice that standard equipment is the rear seat armrest with the cup holders, the standard equipment on the XLT trim. And then also on the FX4 package, we do have drive modes. So we have a different drive modes, 5 different drive modes that are standard equipment. You get the normal mode, eco mode, sport mode, slippery, and tow haul mode. When you go to the FX4 package, you now replace a couple. So you lose the eco mode and you lose the slippery mode, but then you add a mud rut mode and you add a sand mode. So when you go FX4 package, you don't get any more drive modes. It just replaces the slippery with the mud rut and sand, and you lose the eco mode. So you still get the 5 drive modes there. So I want to clarify that. Engine block heater has been added as a standalone option for all the different trims. It wasn't there before. Some of these things are the same on both. Now on the Lariat, they took off a couple things in the Lariat trim. So I'm trying to get confirmation of these. One of them is the rear defrost. So rear defrost was mentioned in the order guide before, the standard equipment when you go up to the Lariat. Now it has been taken off. So as way it looks right now is rear defrost is not available in the Lariat trim. I'm getting confirmation of that, and maybe see if that was just something they inadvertently took off of that order guide. But getting confirmation of that, hopefully for the brand manager. And then also the cargo lamp, in the past it said that it was LED light for that rear cargo light in the back, on the back of the cab. That has now it's not on here anymore, so I'm trying to get confirmation of that as well. So a couple different things there as well. And then also I noticed the TouchLink LED lights have been removed. They're showing as a standalone option on the XL, XLT under the dealer installed options, but it's not showing it on the Lariat standalone option. So I'm getting confirmation on that as well. I double checked, I'm not missing it. So for some reason they took that off. So not sure why, but again, that's another question that I asked the brand manager about. And I think that's about it. And everything else is like we had mentioned. The Lariat Luxury Package does require to get the Copilot 360 package as well. So if you add that, and it tells you to add that, that's why you have to do that. You have to get the Copilot 360 to get that because of the adaptive cruise control. So hopefully I've answered everything. That's 50 minutes now, it looks like. So hopefully this did help you out. Hopefully, I know you're just looking at me for so long, and I probably won't have a lot of B-roll for some of this stuff, but I did want to answer all the questions out there. I'm really trying to, help everybody out, answer any questions I can out there in the community. Whether you have a reservation with us or not, I really don't care. I just want to make sure that you are able to see that information. So just keep that in mind. So also don't forget, you can find any more of our videos. We're going to be doing more and more videos, but you want to make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the red subscribe button down below so you can get subscribed over the channel. Hit the notification bell. That way you get notified the next time we have another video uploaded to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to smash the like button. Put your comments down below. If you have any other questions I did not answer here that you want answered, put them down in the comments. I will respond to those the best I can, or maybe people in the community that read those can respond as well. And don't forget, you can find us on social media. We're at McArthur on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So you can find us there. You can also find me on Twitter as well. I'm at Tim Bartz on Twitter, as well as on Reddit and on Facebook. If you want to follow me, if you're in the Maverick group, you have a question there, tag me. A lot of people have done that as well. If they don't know the answer, they will tag me so that I can see those questions. I'm not in there every day looking at all the questions on all different social media sites. I try to, kind of go in there and see if I can help people out, but keep in mind, tag me, and that way I'll definitely make sure that I answer your question. So again, thanks for watching this video. Hope you really enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. And until the next video, we'll see you later. And don't forget, next Tuesday, we'll have the Maverick here at the dealership. If you're here close enough, come by and see it. He'll be here from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and I'll be doing a couple different videos, including a live stream. So definitely be looking at your phone and be ready for those videos next week as that Maverick is here at the dealership. Thanks, and have a great day.